Guten Tag, everybody, and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video, where today we are going to be counting down the top 10 most powerful rockets of all time, starting off with our number 10 place, which is the Long March 5 from China. So, China is going to, be starting off with its little contribution to today's list. The only contribution from China. This is the biggest rocket China has ever built. Has a launch mass of 10,620 kilonewtons, or 1,065 tons of thrust coming out of its core stage, and then 4 boosters. But we are now already staging the fairing away and getting ready to get into orbit. So this rocket is most famous for launching the Chinese rover last year, and also for being the thing that they launched the space station with, and that almost fell and crashed, and you know, that one where they don't deorbit. But anyway, that is the Chinese, the Long March 5. On to 9th place, which is the H2B. What is the H2B, you may have asked? What is this rocket? It hasn't flown. What is that? It has, though. Japanese, actually. This is Japan's contribution to the list. This thing rarely flies. I believe its last launch was launching the UAE's Mars orbiter back in 2020. Pretty cool launch, pretty cool looking rocket. It has 4 boosters, it has a center core as well, and it has 11,416 kilonewtons of thrust. That is 1,145 tons. As these side boosters get staged away, we can now actually stage away the core stage and get ready to orbit. Funny story, by the way, guys. I actually, this video almost came out wrongly. It was almost wrong. I had my voiceover done. I had the whole thing edited together, and I'm like, all right, time to just do some finishing touches and then release the video. And while I was doing that, I was like, hey, wait a moment, hold up, folks. I think I'm forgetting something. So there are 2 rockets that got added in on like the second go around. That'd have been the meme if I'd released it and forgotten about 2 rockets. But they're in here. One of the rockets I forgot about was the H2B, but yes, it is here. And the other rocket actually is going to be in 8th place, and that is the Ariane V. Yeah, this thing's got some power. This thing's really got some power. 15,000 kilonewtons at launch, which equates to about 1,517 tons of thrust. 2 SRBs with a core stage. Basically, all these have been very similar. They've had a core stage and then they've had boosters surrounding it. Trust me, not all of them are going to be like this, but I guess a lot of them are. This guy is zooming. It is very fast. Gonna make its way into orbit. Gonna actually stage away its core stage, and now onto the upper stage, and now we're making our way into orbit. Would like to quickly say, if you're enjoying the video, please drop a good old sub. We are getting close to 14k subs, and I like 14. That's a pretty good number, because that means that's one before 15, which is one below 16. You know, eventually keep doing that. Eventually we'll get to like 1 billion subs, right? Pretty awesome. So yeah, epic Discord, epic Patreon, merch, channel member. Moving on. Thank you everyone for the support, though. Falcon Heavy. Oh, moi. I don't know what's up like the weird accent. Falcon Heavy, though. Falcon Heavy is a big jump up in power. So, the Ariane V had 15,000 kilonewtons. The Falcon Heavy is rocking at 22,815 kilonewtons at liftoff, or 2,289 tons of thrust of power. 27 Merlins and a whole lot of lag. I've been hesitant to show my Falcon Heavy on video. My stock Falcon Heavy, for a few reasons. One, I don't think it's that good. Is this good? I don't know. The landing legs are the thing that need the most work for sure. And the other thing is, oh my, is it laggy? Oh my, it's painful to even think about. It's painful to even think about. So that's why. It was like, this whole thing is time-lapsed. If I were to show you, it's like literally like 4 FPS. It's literally me watching like a PowerPoint presentation. It is not good at all. But we have some booster landings, and then we'll have the center core landing here in just a moment, and then we'll get our way into an orbit, and then it's going to be time to hippity-hoppity on to the next rocket, which will be something pretty cool. This is where you start to get a big bit of an exponential jump in the power here. So Space Shuttle is up next in the 6th place. 6th, yeah. So 32,000 kilonewtons at thrust from the good old Space Shuttle here, which is 3,211 tons. So yeah, that's the Falcon Heavy was about 22,000. We're up to 32,000. So there's a big jump here. The space shuttle, I think a lot of people don't think the space shuttle is as big as it is or as powerful as it is because first of all, those SRBs, those are some chunky boys, right? And the RS-25s are also, you know, they're pretty powerful as well, you know. So it's a lot of power, and the space shuttle, because it's just space shuttle's payload capacity is not like super high relative to its weight just because the orbiter weighs so much. If the entire orbiter counts as payload, this is like one of the biggest rockets ever, which is crazy. You know, space shuttle is giant, just giant. Kind of a lot of wasted space though if you think about it because the orbiter is so heavy. But whatever, that's a whole can of worms. Anyway, we have stage ready the SRBs, and now we are doing the very difficult task of keeping this thing stable as we make our way through the upper atmosphere and into orbit. This thing does not want to be stable at all. It's a meme, but yeah, we are gonna actually slowly work our way into orbit. Apologize if this commentary gets a little bit rambly. It's a slightly longer video than my normal. My normal is around like 10-ish minutes, and this is a 20-minute video. So I don't know if I start rambling and talking about nonsense. I don't know. Feel free to skip ahead, unless my rambling is good, in which case, I don't know, subscribe. Alright, so, gonna detach from the orange tank, and then we're gonna actually go ahead and quickly switch over to a landing of our space shuttle. We went into a very elliptical orbit. We actually were able to see our map screen there for a second. So, we're coming in very fast. Re-entry was a big challenge for this. The nose cone really was a fan of melting off. I mean, I could have done it through like a bunch of passes, but I want to just go straight in, full send, right? So YOLO, right? So yeah, which meant we got real toasty, and just because of the way the planet rotates and heating, and I didn't want to land accurately, like towards the KSP. Don't worry, there will be another space shuttle type vehicle on this list. I don't know, is that spoilers? I think everyone knew this was going to be here. Maybe not. Maybe not. But yeah, we will do an accurate landing at the KSP. We're going to be landing on a little island, which is going to go switch things up a bit. You know, that's my excuse. I want to look at the various terrain, the geography of Kerbal. When I'm boring landing on the runway over and over, you got to go look somewhere else. And it's not just because I didn't want to. It's because oh my, space shuttles can get very unstable if you let them. But once you get below 10 kilometers, they tend to stabilize themselves out. And SAS does not help at all as we come down here. And gonna get ready for totally the best landing of all time. Totally, here we go. And flop. So look away. You didn't see anything. Oh my, you did not. Oh boy, that's not pretty. That's not pretty at all. But with the space shuttle, we're now officially into our top. I actually had to open the cheat menu to make sure I wasn't cheating because that landing was so bad. I'm like, how did I not break anything? But I didn't. And we're on to the top 5. Saturn V in the 5th place. And why the crap Saturn V is on the 5th place? What? Wait a minute. How is that possible? Saturn V is huge. It's launched the heaviest payload. It's crazy. An Apollo moon. Yes. No. It only has 33,850 kilonewtons of thrust, which is more than the space shuttle. But it's only in the middle. Saturn V. The tonnage of that is 3,297 tons. For those of you who are curious, but yeah, wow. Saturn V. I mean, Saturn V is kind of notoriously underpowered, but I was actually kind of surprised it only got 5th. It's underpowered, but it's still a lot of power. Like if you put 5 F1s on the bottom of an Electron, it'd be in space in like 3 seconds. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like you get the idea. So, yeah, it's oh boy, that guy. But Saturn V, it's really cool. Anyway, it's gonna be on somewhere on the list. But yeah, the F1 engine is very powerful. There's only 5 of them. And we're going to be looking at rockets in this list that have like 30 engines on the bottom stage. So I wonder what I'm talking about. Actually, I guess I could be talking about 2 rockets. And Falcon Heavy at 27. So it's either you have a lot of engines or some SRBs, right? So that is that. And now we're going to go into a very abbreviated Apollo mission. Just because I want to. I basically just I hit on my editing software, I hit, right click, change speed, and then I just like drug it all the way up to 20 times. Drug, is that the right word? Dragged? I don't know. 20 times normal speed is what you're watching this back at. Sorry if it's like, but yeah. Quick note, sorry that the lander, I got a comment or 2 about this last time I had my Saturn V in a video. Sorry the lander is kind of bad. There's like only 6 sides on the gold area when there's supposed to be 8. So, my bad. Sorry about that one, gamers. But, jeez, that's crazy. I have, like, a bunch of different versions of, like, different rockets spread amongst, like, 30,000 different save files. So, If you go to my Saturn V tutorial video, I have a better Saturn V. I just didn't use it in this one because I think it was on a different save of the game or different download. And oh my, I gotta like organize this. I have like 5 starships, 3 space shuttles, 2 Saturn Vs. Anyway, on to the Energia, the first Soviet contribution to this list. Yes, the Energia. For those of you who do not know, this rocket is legendary for being the quote-unquote improved space shuttle. Okay, Energia itself is actually just the rocket. The orbiter, if you don't know, is called the Buran. So there's 2 separate vehicles, unlike the NASA one, which is 1 vehicle. And you know, we could debate which system is better. I personally, controversial opinion, I think the space shuttle is a little bit better. But you know, I have reasons, and other people have their own reasons, and they're not really that invalid. But they are wrong, obviously, because I'm always right. You know, sarcasm, right? Anyway. So yeah, gonna stage away the side boosters, and now it is the center core going. The Energia is gonna be rocking 34,800 kilonewtons at launch, or 3,492 tons. So yeah, the Energia it's more powerful than the Saturn V, and the Energia did launch, and it actually made it into orbit. One time successfully delivered a Buran shuttle, and the other time the rocket performed fine, but the Palya satellite it was carrying into orbit very much it did not perform fine. So yeah, that was a failure, but not on the rocket because of the rocket. Anyway, time for a very quick abbreviated Buran landing because you guys already saw like a space shuttle-esque landing, so I'll try and keep this one quick. Buran's actually going to be coming back to the Kerbal Space Center because it's a cool kid and the space shuttle is a boring kid. Almost lost control there, that was a little bit sketchy, but nonetheless we are actually going to be coming on back on course and going to be preparing for a landing back onto the Kerbal Space Center runway, this time without almost melting my nose cone off. Yes. Poggers. Oh boy, I feel so much better recording this commentary. Last night I was like scrambling to get this video. I'm like, alright, gotta finish video. Like 2 a.m. and I thought we were dead there, but we actually managed to recover. And it was like 2 a.m. I was trying to crank out that commentary. I'm so glad I didn't release the video because all the comments would have been, where is the Ariane V? And where is the HDB? Because those, I originally had Proton and Atlas V in those places. But no, it's those ones. Like, oh. I'm actually happy with my track record so far. I've done a few of these like ranking videos, top 10, top whatever videos. And I've actually never got a comment that I've like severely missed a big thing. So I'm trying to keep the track record good. And one of these days I'm going to be like a meme and forget like the biggest rocket or whatever, the most important. Until that day comes, I will maintain my good track record. You know, transitioning beautifully, something that does not have a good track record. SLS is going to be starting off our top 3. Yes, SLS is the 3rd most powerful rocket of all time. Would like to quickly clarify the criteria to be on this list is basically you have a rocket, you have to have built it, you have to have put engines on it, and those engines have to have fired from the bottom of the rocket. So, hence why Vulcan and New Glenn are not on this list, because I almost put Vulcan on it, but where are my engines, Jeff? There's just too much uncertainty about the BE4 performance and what that engine actually entails, so who knows? Because Vulcan could be super powerful, could be a little less, and a little bit too much gray area there. But that's why I'm trying to stick to rockets that we like pretty much know for sure what the performance will be. And the rocket doesn't have to successfully get into orbit for it to be a requirement. I think you can be on this list. I think you can see where I'm going with this. What rocket I'm referring to. It just has to have like been fired, basically, is the requirement. The power has to have been there, you know. Because who cares? Because getting into orbit's about like second stages and upper stage. Who cares if they work? We're talking about the power, the raw power. And yeah, SLS has a lot of it. 38,200 kilonewtons or 30,833 tons of thrust, as we're going to be simulating the Artemis 1 mission, which is supposed to happen in November 2021, but it will most certainly not happen in November of 2021. My bet's around like February of 22. So if anyone's watching in February of 2022, let me know if it happened. Actually, I'll know, so I could let myself know, maybe? I don't know. Strange. Anyway, we're going to be landing our Orion capsule, and then moving on to our second place. The second most powerful rocket of all time is the... Awkward pause. N1! Yes! Superior Russian engineering. I don't know. Is it superior for second place? Who cares? Superior. It's superior in their mind. As the N1 is now going to get off the pad, and this is a big jump in power here. So, SLS 38,000 kilonewtons. N1 blowing it out of the water with 45,400 kilonewtons at launch, or 4,556 tons of thrust, which is crazy because the N1, it can technically deliver less payload to orbit than the SLS or Saturn V, which are both below it. Like, it's crazy. It's really close to SLS, but I think it's just a tiny bit less. As we stage right at the bottom stage, we are now firing our second stage, and then once it's done, we'll be firing our third stage, and oh my, this thing has a lot of stages. It is a big boy, very big rocket. Yeah, if you didn't know when I was referring to when I said, oh, it didn't have to make it to orbit yet, this one, because the N1's launched 4 times. A few of them got pretty far, but I don't think any of them made it to second stage ignition. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they all blew up in very big fireballs in the sky and blew up on the ground, and also very big fireballs. So, unfortunately, no one was ever on them, but not a good day. This is what the Russians tried, or the Soviets wanted to beat the Americans to the moon with, was the N1. It didn't pan out. Anyway, once we get into orbit, since we already saw like an abbreviated Apollo mission, we're gonna do an even more abbreviated moon mission. Basically, yeah, I'm just gonna like here. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So we are in orbit. Okay, trans-lunar injection burn. All right, lunar insertion burn. All right, next up we have undocking of the lander, and then we have landing of the lander on the surface of the moon. After that, you'll be having a takeoff of the lander. Yay, wee, woohoo! Aye, docking, and the return burn, and re-entry, woo, yeah, landing, splashdown. I guess normally this capsule would land on land, but it's just kind of where the planets lined up. But now, our first place. What's our first place? Starship. Love it or hate it. You better love it. I don't know. I do a lot of Starship videos, so if you don't love it, I don't know why you're watching the channel. I don't know. Maybe fresh perspective, right? Welcome. And Starship, yeah. It's not even close. It's not even close. Starship, when it flies, will be by far the biggest, most powerful rocket ever launched. So the reason Starship counts, right, is because they have fired like hundreds of Raptors, and they have fired some Raptors on the bottom of Super Heavy, and they are really close to doing that again. So, you know, I really want this video to be outdated in 3 seconds. So, Starship. Now, calculating a launch power for this thing was a little bit challenging. As the Super Heavy returns for the landing. This is a recreation, by the way, of the B4S20 flight. So, the booster is going to be heading back just off the coast, coming in for a splashdown, and then the ship is going to be going, you know, technically suborbital, and going to be landing itself in the ocean, just downrange downrange most of the way around the planet. It's going to go. So Starship, the number I got was 64,489 kilonewtons, or 6,522 tons, which is literally double the Saturn V. Literally double. Bruh. Okay. The Saturn V, okay, so Starship is like in just raw size, like it is physically just a little bit bigger than the Saturn V, twice the thrust. Holy cappers, boys. That's a lot of power, a lot of gosh dang power right there, man. Yeah. My Christian Minecraft server. A lot of power. So how did I get that number? And it's like 20,000 more than the N1, which I believe is the biggest gap of any two positions. Yeah. 20,000 kilonewtons. None of the other positions have that big of a gap between them. So how did I come up with that number? As we're just gonna get ready for MECO here, and then we'll do our coasting, and then our entry, and it's gonna be awesome, and our landing. So in 2020 August, we got info from Eflon Tusk. You know the guy. You know the tech Elon, right? 225 tons of thrust they got out of the Raptor, which was like a very high number. Like the highest demonstrated thrust was in August of 2020. That's the number I went with calculating the thrust of the Raptor, and I also assumed 29 engines on the Super Heavy. It's going to have more eventually, but B4 has 29, and that's the number we're going with. So 29 engines times 225 tons of thrust gives you, 64,000 kilonewtons, or, 6,500 tons. So that's where I got the number. Realistically, I bet the Raptors on B4 will be ever so slightly under that 225 tons, but the future Raptors will undoubtedly be higher, or be at that number or higher than it. So, that's how I got to that number, and here we are. Welcome to the belly flop, the conclusion of the video, where we're going to see a very epic Starship landing back into the water. One thing I did realize is that it's very easy to land at night. I actually had to strategically plan my burn so I didn't land at night. I really hope S20 doesn't land at night. I mean, to be honest, I just hope S20 lands in one piece. You know, but we'll see. Anyway, here's our flip maneuver. We have our engines. You know the drill. We go ahead, do the flip, and then we come down. I like barely catch it here. We almost have an unscheduled impact with the water, but there you go. Managed to save it, and there we go. Just splashing down for a nice controlled landing. And that is going to bring us to the end of today's video. I'd like to thank all the channel members there. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Also like to thank the Patreons. You guys are also awesome. And that is going to be it for me. I'd like to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Please order, comment to the video. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. And bye.